Okay, so what if hell wasn't just, a chaotic pit of fire? What if it was run like a company with a board of directors? Today, we're going to break down a really fascinating and structured hierarchy of hell's rulers, and we're treating it less like a myth and more like a cast list for some characters with some incredibly specific and modern feeling ideas.
All right, so let's really lean into that idea. Forget the classic image of screaming in flames for just a second. Instead, picture a realm that's organized with a clear, almost corporate chain of command, a place where every leader has a distinct and seriously powerful worldview. So right at the top of this whole structure, you've got what we'll call the high command. And these aren't just your run-of-the-mill demons. Think of them as the titans of this underworld, the architects of an entire philosophy built on two core foundational principles: pride and greed.
First up, the big boss himself, Lucifer. In this hierarchy, his whole deal is pride. But it's not what you think. He sees arrogance as, well, the realization of superiority. To him, it's not a flaw. It's a logical conclusion. It's just a fact. And this one single quote, man, it just perfectly sums up his entire philosophy. This isn't really about being evil for evil's sake. It's a bold declaration of independence. It's the absolute core refusal to submit to anyone. In his eyes, that's the ultimate expression of self-worth. And right there with Lucifer is Mammon, the prince of greed. But here's the thing, he's not a conqueror out there taking things. He's a hoarder. His whole existence is just about accumulation, and it's so all-consuming that it leaves no room for anything else, not even a real sense of self. And this quote, "Possession is the only truth," it tells you everything you need to know about his worldview. In his mind, stuff like honor or love, that's all fluff, it's fleeting. But the things you own, that's real, that's tangible. It's a philosophy built on a very empty kind of certainty. Okay, so you've got the C-suite, right? The high command. Well, the next level down, the destroyers of self, they're the ones who really put those ideas into action. They're the sovereigns who turn those principles inward, designed to corrode the individual soul from the inside out. Let's kick things off with Asmodeus, the prince of lust. And what's so wild about this definition is that it's not about pleasure at all. It's framed as this self-defeating process, a feast where you just consume and consume until there's absolutely nothing left inside you but that gnawing hunger. Then you have Leviathan, the prince of envy. And we're not talking about simple jealousy here, like wanting your neighbor's car. This is something much deeper, much more existential, a profound void in the heart, a constant aching reminder of what you feel you're missing. And get this is where the philosophy gets really twisted and interesting. The quote basically reframes envy not as some personal failing on your part, but as a kind of righteous anger. It suggests that the happiness other people have isn't actually theirs. It was stolen from you. And rounding out this trio is Beelzebub. What's cool here is how modern this definition feels. He is the overconsumer, the driving spirit of an insatiable appetite that just has to have more, leading, inevitably, to the depletion of absolutely everything. And that phrase, never enough, never full, it's the perfect slogan for modern gluttony, isn't it? It's not just food, it's everything. Resources, information, attention. It's a cycle of consumption that is designed to destroy the very things it wants. So we've seen how that middle tier turns inward, right? Corroding the soul from the inside. Well, this final tier is all about outward expression. And it's this perfect, fascinating contrast between explosive, violent action and total, complete inaction. Okay, and this is super important, so listen up. In this specific hierarchy, Satan is not the big boss of hell. He is the prince of wrath. He's a being who genuinely finds purpose and meaning in conflict, who believes it is the only way you can ever truly express who you are. So for him, violence isn't just chaos or evil. It's actually a tool for self-discovery and for clarification. It's like, how do you know what you're made of until you're in a fight? It's how you forge your identity in the middle of a struggle. And then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got Belphegor, the master of sloth. And again, this isn't just about being lazy and napping all day. This is a deep spiritual apathy. It's this creeping paralysis of the soul that just drains you of the will to do anything, or to even care. And that quote, "Tomorrow will come, ignore the burden." That's it. That's the seductive little whisper of procrastination, isn't it?
It's that tempting little voice that says you can just put it off, ignore what you have to do for just one more day. Until, of course, you run out of days.
So why are we diving this deep into demonology? Well, here's where it gets really cool. This isn't just ancient lore. It's being used as a blueprint, a full cast list or dramatis personae for a creative project called the Shadow Cabinet.
So by using this framework, the villains in this story suddenly get way more interesting. They have real, complex philosophies. They're not just evil because the script says so. They have reasons. They have a worldview.
Take Satan, for instance. Originally, he was just this generic red judge character, but now he's the Prince of Wrath, someone who actively values conflict. And that immediately sets him up as the perfect enemy for a hero whose whole thing is safety and avoiding conflict. It's a perfect matchup. Same thing with Beelzebub. He goes from being vaguely about decay to personifying this idea of empty overconsumption. And suddenly, he's a much more modern and terrifying villain, a perfect fit for a world that's described as a marketplace of distractions.
But here's maybe the most interesting connection of all. What if the philosophy of Belphegor, that apathy, that neglect of duty, is actually the starting point for another character, Salvio Polito, who is obsessed with safety? I mean, think about it. Is the desperate need for absolute safety just a different form of the desire to do nothing at all? An unintended consequence, maybe? So this deep dive into the villain's motivations really puts the story's creators at a crossroads. It opens up all these new possibilities and forces them to make a pretty big decision about where the whole narrative is going to go.
And that leaves us with this huge question, not just for the story, but kind of for us too. What's the better path? Do you deepen the existing villains you already have, or do you chase this new, unexpected narrative thread that just appeared? Is it better to face the struggles that define who we are, or is it easier to just retreat into the comfortable safety of, well, doing nothing? It seems like that choice is always there, waiting for us to make